Volgograd oil refinery, Yaroslavl 3 oil pumping station, Tor M2 air defense system, material and technical equipment depot, and unmanned aerial vehicles control points of the Russian Nazis invaders were hit.
On May 28 and on the night of May 29, 2026, units of the Defense Forces of Ukraine struck a number of important facilities of the Russian Nazis occupiers. In particular, the Volgograd oil refinery of the Russian Nazis invaders was hit in city of Volgograd in the Volgograd region of the so-called Russian Federation. A fire was recorded on the territory. The AVT-1, AVT-3, AVT-5 and AVT-6 primary oil refining units, as well as secondary oil refining units, were hit. The plant stopped production processes. The scale of the damage caused is being specified. The Volgograd oil refinery is part of the Lukoil oil company and is one of the largest oil refining enterprises in the south of the so-called Russian Federation. The processing capacity is about 14 million tons of oil per year. The enterprise produces gasoline, diesel fuel, jet fuel, and other petroleum products, in particular to ensure military logistics and the needs of the Russian Nazis army. The oil pumping station Yaroslavl 3 of the Russian Nazis invaders was hit in the Yaroslavl region of the so-called Russian Federation. The target was hit and a fire broke out on the territory of the station. 2 oil tanks, 50,000 cubic meters and 20,000 cubic meters, were confirmed to be burning. The extent of the damage is being clarified. The oil pumping station Yaroslavl 3 is a hub station of the Surgut-Polotsk pipeline, through which oil from Siberia and the north of the so-called Russian Federation goes to the Baltic ports of Primorsk, Ust-Luga, and the so-called Republic of Belarus. It is part of the structure of the Russian Nazi state company Transneft. A Tor M2 anti-aircraft missile system of the Russian Nazis invaders was also hit in the area of Berdyansky settlement in the temporarily occupied territory of the Ukrainian Zaporizhzhia region. In addition, a command and observation post of the Russian Nazis invaders was hit in the area of Lyman-Pershyi village in the temporarily occupied territory of the Ukrainian Kharkiv region, as well as unmanned aerial vehicles control points of the Russian Nazis invaders were hit in the areas of Toyotkino settlement in the Kursk region of the so-called Russian Federation, Komer village in the temporarily occupied territory of the Ukrainian Donetsk region, and Nestor-Yunka village in the temporarily occupied territory of the Ukrainian Zaporizhzhia region. A material and technical equipment depot of the Russian Nazis invaders was also hit in Adar settlement in the temporarily occupied territory of the Ukrainian Luhansk region. In addition, Ukrainian soldiers inflicted damage on areas of the manpower clusters of the Russian Nazis invaders in the areas of Novopetrivka village and Novogrigorivka village in the temporarily occupied territory of the Ukrainian Zaporizhzhia region, Rodinsky town in the temporarily occupied territory of the Ukrainian Donetsk region, Kleven village in the Kursk region of the so-called Russian Federation, Sichnevi village in the temporarily occupied territory of the Ukrainian Dnipropetrovsk region, and Basivka village in the temporarily occupied territory of the Ukrainian Sumy region. The Ukrainian Defense Forces will continue to systematically take measures to weaken the Russian Nazis occupiers, headed by small-size crazy son of a bitch, and force the so-called Russian Federation to stop its armed aggression against Ukraine. To be continued. Glory to Ukraine.